Today, we're going to look at how much a dead body is worth. And let me start by telling you, it's not much. I was listening to a guy the other day who studies abiogenesis, and he was basically saying, once a body's been totally broken down and cremated and everything, you get maybe 3 cents worth of particles off of it, a little bit of water, a little bit of carbon. But that's what your body's worth in that. Now people go, well, you've got a little bit of gold in your bloodstream, that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about all that junk. I'm just saying, for those of us who are typical people, that's it. That's how much a dead body is worth. Now, with all of that in conjunction with what we're about to read, keep that in the forefront of your mind. As for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins. Now, especially for a Middle Eastern culture like this that's talking about this, if they would have said, what's a dead body worth? They wouldn't have given you 3 cents for it, right? It brings disease, it brings filth, it brings trouble, it brings mourning. It's a dead bodies. You get rid of them. You might put them in an ossuary. You might put them on a place for their bones to get out of there, though. They don't have anything to do with that. Now we get smart today. We go, well, technically but here's what this ancient writer is trying to say. Here's our standing against God when we were sinful. You were dead in your transgressions. That means, that's another word for sin, in which you used to live when you followed the ways of this world and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air, that is Satan, the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient. All of us also lived among them at one time, gratifying the cravings of the flesh and following its desires and thoughts. Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. Imagine, it's almost the perfect word picture Paul could have given us. Because what if Paul said, while you were still sinners, it's just like we just weren't that useful. Then what we have all said? Also, I'm a little bit useful? No, it's not. You weren't a little bit useful. It's like you were the worst member of a soccer team. Well, I mean, at least I was on the team, right? Paul's trying to think of what can I possibly get across to people to help them understand? There's nothing you did. There's nothing you accomplished. There's nothing it's not because we were good or beneficial or productive or useful or beautiful or tall or athletic or anything. There's nothing you did. There's nothing I did to earn the love of God that was given to us freely. Here's the issue that we come across in our life, though. Have you ever sat in a moment and gone, man, I would feel weird going to church right now. I just really don't deserve to be in church, or I really just don't deserve God's forgiveness. Or I don't deserve to be around God's people right now. So I'm going to pronounce a sentence on myself. And here's the issue. Sometimes I think that comes from a good place of going, man, I'm not worthy to stand in the presence of God. Here's the issue. If you start thinking that way, then let's push the reverse button and go, then what happens in the other part of your life? Are there actual moments where we feel like I am worthy to stand in front of an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving, redeeming God of this universe? So we got to be careful. Now we're coming from a good place of the heart going, I just don't feel quite worthy. But guys, we're never worthy to stand in his presence. We're never worthy to be there. So we got to stop doing that really bad math that tells us, well, right now I'm too sinful to go to church, or I'm too sinful to approach the throne of grace, or I'm too sinful to ask God to forgive me. Like there's other times in your life where you're just not that sinful, where God's going to forgive you much easier. Does that make any sense? But we get caught in that lie. And I think it's part of what it says. The ruler of this realm, Satan, tries to tell us this lie of there's actually a limit to sin that God's just cool with. And you can work your way to salvation. And this is you being a great person. Now, if you cross this line, now you don't deserve to be around him at all. Guys, no matter if we're right here or we're way up here, you cannot out-sin the cross of Christ. His grace is sufficient. His mercy is there, which means in all seasons we're unworthy, but because of the blood of Christ, we've all been made worthy. So stop with any notion of right now I don't feel worthy, or right now I can't talk to him, or right now I can't ask for forgiveness, because you never should ever feel qualified to do so. But because of the blood of the Lamb shed on the cross, we have gained access to the Father by whom we can call Abba. We'll see you guys tomorrow.